No.
Hi, Yu-Gi-Oh players, it's Aurabeast2468 again. This time I'm going to show you the most latest updated Jurrac deck because I got my hands on Dual Terminal 4 Jurracs, which is the last Jurracs that will come out in America, and we won't get them reprinted until April 19th in the set Hidden Arsenal 4. So I hope you enjoy. First we have one of the tuners, Jurrac Monolith. It's a level 3 tuner, and it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once. Now, if you lower the attack of all your opponent's monsters, or if Monolith gains a big boost and attacks all your opponent's monster, he can basically clear the field for you, and then you can attack with your other Jurracs. Next, we have two Jurrac Velos. They are the summoner / the giant rat of the deck, which, when he gets destroyed in attack position, you can special summon a Jurrac with 1700 attack or less from your deck onto the field, including himself. Next, we have the Dandelion of the deck, Jurrac Jurrac. Sorry, I can't pronounce words, but then again, hey, who cares? What these guys do is that when they get destroyed by battle, special summon 2 Jurrac tokens on your field in face-up defense position. And also, since he's a level 2 and the main tuners are level 3, you can sync with him for a level 5, and you can basically bring out one of the main Jurrac Sacros that goes with it as well. Jurrac Velhito. Next, we have 2 Protops. Reason why I have Protops: 1, he's a level 4. 2, he gains 100 attack for every monster your opponent controls. And so that he's the only one that gives attack variation for the deck, because most of the Jurracs have 1700 attack or less, but mostly 1700, and his changes depending on how many monsters your opponent controls. So it helps in certain situations. Next, we have one of the main Jurrac cards, Jurrac Gueba ×3. Reason why you run 3 is because he's the Shura of the blue flame of the deck. When he attacks, or whenever he battles an opponent's monster and destroys it, special summon a Jurrac with 1700 attack or less from the deck onto your side of the field, but it can't attack on the turn that gets summoned. He's good for Jurrac Dino abuse, Sacral abuse, and field control abuse. And you'll notice why in a moment. Next, I'm using one Jurrac Iguanan because he's the bouncer of the deck. When he attacks and destroys a card, I can return one spell or trap my opponent controls back to their hand. So if I'm using this card against 6 Samurais, I can bounce their gateways back and reset all their counters, or just mess them up in general. Now, on to the good stuff. 3 Jurrac Arrows. Yes, they're dual terminal. Personally, he is one of the best cards ever made because, 1, he's a level 1 tuner, and he's a target for Jurrac Gueba. 3, he is a switcher for the deck. That means that I can send him to the grave to special summon a level 4 or lower Jurrac from my graveyard, except for himself, onto the field. So it doesn't mess up Jurrac Ignato's effect, and he's just an instant switcher. So, play 3 of him. 2 Jurrac Dinos. I'm planning on getting a third one and then switch out for one of the Monoliths, because 1, he's a beat stick. 2, he's the strongest level 3 tuner. 1700 attack for level 3. He's a target for Gueba, and he's the only draw power of the deck, because when he destroys a monster, I can send 1 Jurrac to the grave for myself to draw 2 cards. Next, we have Jurrac Gatham. He's the Lightsworn Raikou of the deck. When he gets attacked and destroyed by battle, I can destroy the monster my opponent controls, or better yet, the monster that attacked it, but my opponent can negate it by sending 1 card. Reason why I have him is mainly because he's a level 2 tuner, and since the deck has level 4, he's a level 2, I can sync for easy level 6. And then last but not least, 2 Jurrac Harius. He's the Cyber Dragon and Grandmaster of the deck. He can special summon himself whenever a defense position Jurrac Whenever it's face up or face down, gets destroyed by battle, I can summon him from my hand or from my grave at any given time. He's a foolish burial target, so he works. That's it for monsters. Time for the spells and traps. 3 Fossil Digs. Main card of the deck, Rhoda on steroids. Select a level 6 or lower dinosaur and add it to my hand. And since all the dinosaurs are in the deck are level 6 or lower, I can just pick anyone I need for a certain situation. Thank God it's not on the ban list. 1 Burner of the Mighty. I'm trying to figure out how to add a second one because I have one in my side deck, but this beats Solidarity because it degrades all my opponent's monsters by 100 per star, so it can make the biggest the weakest. Monster Reborn, bring back. 2 Book of Moons for protection wise. Trinade, return all spells and traps. Foolish, send the right Jurracs to the graveyard when needed. Shrink. I run Shrinks because to protect my Jurracs, and that if I have Dino or Grubba and my opponent attacks and I play Shrink, I can still play their effects at the same turn because their opponent's monster will blow up, and I can get their effects. 2 MSTs. 1 My Body of Shield, and 1 Cold Wave. On the traps now. Magical Cylinder to return back any damage from high level monsters I would taken. Mirror Force. 2 Spiritual Art Kurenai, I can't pronounce it. Basically, since the deck is a beat stick deck, and if your opponent has a few life points left, play this, and you basically burn your opponent for game, because each Jurrac has almost 2,000 attack to begin with. Scrap Iron Scarecrow, for protection-wise. 2 Royal Decrees, trap protection, because your opponent will run Dimensional Prisons, Bomb Strap Holes, etc., etc., etc. And then 7 Tools of the Bandit to negate a trap card like Soul Warning, or Soul Judgment, or Mirror Force, or whatever trap comes your way. That's it for monsters. Now time for the side. As you noticed, 2 tokens. Huzzah. 1 Jurrac Gallum for more tuner support. 1 more Guan for more bouncer support. This is the second Burden of the Mighty I mentioned. I'm trying to switch this out for one of the other cards in the deck. 2 Soul Release. Now, reason why I put Soul Release in the deck is because 1, decks nowadays rely on cards being in the grave. I can remove them from play. Also, if I'm facing an opponent Jurrac deck, I can remove their Jurracs from the game, so that way I won't have to worry as much of them overpowering me. Smashing Ground. 2 Noblemen of Exterminations. Destroy a face-down spell or trap my opponent controls and remove it from play. And if it's a trap card, remove all the same card that I just destroyed from both players' decks, plural. Sorry. Trap Stun, just in case of Royal Decree, doesn't help out as much. Goes in Match. Goes in Match is perfect against Samurai decks and decks with many variations of types because since Jurracs are all fire types, and Goes in Match basically makes the field only 1 type for each side. Like my side's fire, and my opponent has to be like either earth or water or whatever. It puts them in a certain spot. And Rivalry of Warlords, it's the same thing except for types. And since my Jurracs are all dinosaurs, my opponent has to have a certain type. Like for Sabers, Sabers have beasts, beast warriors, insects, yeah, so on. Now on to Sacros. Sorry for this. Magical Android. Ally Jessica Catastor. 2 Jurrac Valpitos. The best card against Gravekeepers and decks that rely on Raikou, because whenever he attacks a face-down defense position, it automatically blows himself up. And his attack and defense become equal to the attack and defense of the Sacred Material monsters. So the best cards to use for it would be Dino and Jurrac's Jurraco, which gives him 2,200 attack and 1,200 defense. Royal Guardian, Jurrac, 3 Giganatos. Yes, one of those dual terminal. I'm trying to get myself more. Main card of the deck, each Jurrac gains 200 attack for each Jurrac in the grave. And since the deck is pure beat stick, you want to have him out as fast as you can. Black Rose, instant nuke. Ancient Fairy Dragon. I run Ancient Fairy Dragon because of Gravekeeper decks. And for good field support because it has 3,000 defense. And I get to special summon a monster from my hand that's level 4 or lower, but I can't conduct a battle phase. But main point, this dragon destroys field spells, and I gain 1,000 from it. So, it really messes Gravekeepers up. Scrap Dragon. Turns out Scrap Dragon is actually helpful, because I can target a Jurrac, destroy it, and then it'll be powering up Jurrac Giganato's effect. Stardust. I adjusted Decisive Armors, just in case if I go up against Light Swords. And Jurrac Meteor. Yes, it's dual terminal. Instant Nuker, Black Rose on steroids, and I could special summon a tuner from my graveyard. His requirements are very specific. A Jurrac tuner and 2 or more dinosaur non-tuners, but that's why there's the Jurrac tokens to help out with that. And that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you got any questions, post them underneath the video, under posts. And other than that, have fun dueling.